You know what's funny? Last week I told you that 2 weeks ago I told you that I was finally going to build my own app. I was excited. I thought the hardest part would be writing the code because I don't even make any app. Turns out I hadn't even answered the most important question yet. What I'm actually building. I probably rejected 20 ideas these 2 weeks. AI apps, productivity apps, developer tools, habit trackers. Some of them honestly sounded much more exciting than the one I finally chose. And for a moment I even thought maybe I'm making a mistake because the app I decided to build is probably not the app most startup founders would choose. It won't raise investment, it probably won't end up on TechCrunch, and maybe it won't even make money. So, why did I choose it anyway? That's what this episode is about. After the last video, I thought the next step would be obvious. Open Cursor AI, create a new project, start coding. Easy. Instead, I spent almost 2 days thinking, not coding, just thinking. Because I realized something. The first app is probably the most important decision in the whole experiment. Not because it has to become a huge business, but because it has to get finished. I started writing down every idea that came into my head. Honestly, some of them sounded much cooler than the idea I finally picked. For a moment, I even caught myself thinking, maybe I should build something that more likely to go viral. But then I asked myself one question: if nobody watches this channel, would I still build this app? And surprisingly, the answer was yes. That completely changed how I looked at the decision. Instead of chasing the biggest market, I decided to solve a problem I already understand. Not because it's guaranteed to work, but because I don't want to spend the next 6 months building something just because it sounds impressive. It's too hard today. Okay, the app I'm building is called Life in Germany. And before you say, wait, there are already websites about Germany. You're right, there are. Google has miles of results. There are Facebook groups, WhatsApp channels, Telegram chats, government websites. Even AI can answer most questions now. So why build another app? Because after living here for more than 4 years, I noticed something. People don't need more information. They need less. They don't want to read the different websites. They don't want a 40 minutes YouTube video. Most of the time, they just want someone to say, here is what you do first. That's it. One clear next step. And that's exactly what I want this app to become. Not the biggest source of information, the easiest place to start. Then I made another decision. Probably the hardest one for any developer: start deleting features. Seriously, I'm not kidding. Every time I thought this would be useful, I asked myself one question: does the first version really need this? Most of the time, the answer was no. No accounts, no backend, no notifications, no AI chatbots, no community, and even no premium plan. Just a few simple screens. Open the app, choosing the category, read a short guide, save if you need it later. That's it. That's all. because I don't want to spend 6 months building features. I want to spend maybe 14 days, maybe 1 month answering one question. Will anyone actually use this? Something else is different this time. For the first time in my career, I'm not building a project alone. Well, not exactly. For years, my workflow looked almost the same. Open VS Code, Google problems, read Stack Overflow, maybe ask ChatGPT, write code, and repeat. This project will be different. I'm using ChatGPT to challenge my ideas. I'm using AI to recognize the product. And I'm building the app inside Cursor AI. Not because I think AI writes better code than I do, but because I want to learn something. Can AI help me move faster without making me lazy? I honestly don't know, and I think that's another interesting experiment happening alongside the app itself. So, something funny happened on day one. I opened Cursor AI, created a new project, looked at the empty screen, and closed it. Not once, 3 times. Because every time I was ready to start coding, another idea appeared. What if I add login? What if people want comments? Maybe I should make it multilingual. Or what if I add AI search? Every new feature sounds like a good idea until I remember something. Nobody had even asked for the app yet. I was already trying to improve a product that didn't exist. And I think developers do this all the time. We fall in love with building, creating something, coding, instead of solving. So I wrote a sentence at the top of my notebook. If the features doesn't help validate the idea, it doesn't go into version 1. That sentence saved me from myself. This sentence saved me from myself. So, what did I actually finish on the first day? Not much. And I'm completely okay with that. I didn't build the app, I built the foundation, the product structure, the categories, the first content plan, the screen flow. It doesn't look impressive yet. Actually, it looks pretty boring, I think, but this is probably the first time I've started a project without rushing into code. And I already feel like this project is different, maybe slower in the beginning, hopefully much faster later. I feel myself like a project manager, not like a typical developer. So I started my project and it's very interesting way. Actually, I'd like your help, especially if you live in Germany. What was the first thing that completely confused you after moving here? Not the biggest problem, the small, annoying one, the thing nobody explained. Maybe it was health insurance, maybe job center letters, maybe finding a doctor, maybe renting your first apartment, or maybe something I haven't even thought about. Leave it in the comments, because I don't want to build the app I think people need. I want to build the app people actually ask for. So, this is where I am right now. I have an idea, I have a very small MVP, I have a 14 days deadline, and I have no idea if people will actually use this app. But that's the point. I don't want to guess forever. I want to build it, launch it, and see what happens. In the next episode, the planning ends, the real development begins, and we'll find out if 14 days is enough for for this kind of app, or if it completely underestimated this project. Subscribe if you want to follow the experiment, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!